What's up everyone, it's Houndx here, back with another video, and in this video I'm going to benchmark my Lenovo Legion 5 with the R7 4800H and GTX 1660 Ti and compare them to the benchmarks of the RTX 3050 Ti laptop GPU on the newer Lenovo Legion 5 2021 to see how big the performance gap may be. In the end of the video, I'm going to share my final thoughts about whether the ray tracing in the RTX 3050 Ti will even make sense with the little 4GB of VRAM and whether it's worth it in 2021. Without taking any more of your time, let's get right into the video. First, I'm going to list pricing and specs for each laptop. The laptop with the GTX 1660 Ti I have for this comparison is the Lenovo Legion 5 2020, and the laptop with the RTX 3050 Ti is the Lenovo Legion 5 2021. Now, I'm not going to bore you out by reading out all the specs. You can pause the video anytime and read them on the screen or in the description below, but pretty much both laptops have almost the same specs when it comes down to hardware. Even the RAM speeds are the same, 3200 MHz. The only difference is the GPU, of course, and the processor. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get both processors to be the same in this comparison because the GTX 1660 Ti is an older generation GPU, so you'll only find it paired with a previous generation processor in gaming laptops. Therefore, that is why it's paired with a 4000 series Ryzen processor. The RTX 3050 Ti's, however, are paired with the newer Ryzen 5000 series or 11th gen Intel processors. So the processor in the RTX 3050 Ti Lenovo Legion is the Ryzen 7 5800H. Although they are a generation apart, they both have 8 cores and 16 threads, so there isn't any advantage there. Anyways, when it comes down to prices, both laptops have the same MSRP of around $1,000. Depending on the time when you're watching this video, the prices may vary, but I'll use these for the comparison. For the performance settings, there's not much to worry about since both laptops are from the same manufacturer. Both laptops were kept at stock clock speed, so no overclocks were done. CPU and GPU overclocking was disabled in Lenovo Vantage. Both laptops have an overdrive enabled, which lowers the response time. Both have hybrid mode, which is Nvidia Optimus, a battery life saving feature, disabled. Both laptops have the integrated AMD Radeon graphics disabled in the BIOS. This way I can maximize the performance on both laptops, so that there will be little to no FPS drops at all during the benchmarks. Now, with all that said, it may already seem that the Lenovo Legion 5 2021 with the RTX 3050 Ti is automatically the better pick because you're essentially paying the same price for a newer generation processor, and you're also getting the same amount of features, if not more, on the newer model compared to last year's 2020 Lenovo Legion. However, the results actually may surprise you. Anyways, here are the benchmarks. Starting with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, at medium settings, the RTX 3050 Ti outperformed the 1660 Ti by a slight 2 FPS on average. But when we dial up the settings to high settings, the 3050 Ti gets outperformed by the GTX 1660 Ti, with the GTX 1660 Ti performing roughly 80% faster than the 3050 Ti. This is probably because the RTX 3050 Ti has less VRAM than the GTX 1660 Ti. The RTX 3050 Ti was basically maxed out of its 4GB VRAM. Red Dead Redemption was tested at DirectX 12 high settings and 1080p. The RTX 3050 Ti performs 6 FPS faster, so a slight FPS improvement. Although the graph difference may look pretty huge, but the difference is really only 6 FPS. Rainbow Six Siege was tested at ultra settings. The RTX 3050 Ti won in this scenario. Metro Exodus was tested at DirectX 12 high settings. For the 1% lows, it was a tie. Pretty much both GPUs had the same, but the RTX 3050 Ti performed 5 FPS higher than the GTX 1660 Ti. Battlefield 5 was tested with DirectX 12 and Ultra settings. The GTX 1660 Ti outperformed the RTX 3050 Ti by 21 FPS on average. For Call of Duty Warzone, both GPUs had almost the same FPS, so I would call this one a tie since it is within the margin of error. For Control, the GTX 1660 Ti performed a slightly 3 FPS faster on average. However, the FPS differences are noticeable since there were more FPS drops on the RTX 3050 Ti, since it had a 1% low of 33 FPS. F1 2020 had the largest improvements in terms of FPS for the RTX 3050 Ti. The RTX 3050 Ti was pushing out 40% more FPS compared to the GTX 1660 Ti. And finally, last but not least, we have Fortnite, which was tested at epic settings, DirectX 12, and with the max 3D resolution. This time the 3050 Ti outperformed the GTX GTX 1660 Ti. This is likely because Fortnite is a CPU-bound game, meaning that it depends more on the CPU than the GPU, and the Lenovo Legion with the RTX 3050 Ti had a Ryzen 7 5800H, which performs at higher clock speeds than the Ryzen 7 4800H that's in the Lenovo Legion 2020 with the GTX 1660 Ti. Next, I did some calculations, and overall I found that the Lenovo Legion 5 with a GTX 1660 Ti outperformed the RTX 3050 Ti by just over 2% for average FPS in the games I've tested. For me, that was quite surprising because I actually expected the Lenovo Legion 2021 with the RTX 3050 Ti to perform faster, since it did have the Ryzen 7 5800H, which alone outperforms its previous generation counterpart, the Ryzen 7 4800H, which is on the Lenovo Legion 5 2020 with the GTX 1660 Ti. Now, when it comes to thermals and temperatures, there's no thermal throttling on either of the laptops. I used the stand as an incline for the laptops so that they would have air to breathe. This way the temperatures would stay cool. The CPU and GPU temperatures were relatively the same, and they never exceeded over 85 degrees Celsius. Now, please do bear in mind to use these results as some sort of reference. Depending on the laptop GPU's power limits, you may expect different FPS results and differences. The RTX 3050 Ti had a power limit of 95 watts, and the GTX 1660 Ti had a power limit of 80 watts. Some RTX 3050 Ti's have lower power limits, such as 80 watts, so you may expect slightly lower FPS on that laptop. And same goes with the GTX 1660 Ti. Now, overall, which laptop GPU should you consider? Personally, I'd lean toward the GTX 1660 Ti laptop. It does depend on what kind of games you play and what your needs are, but the reason why I think the GTX 1660 Ti is overall a better option is because the availability of GTX 1660 Ti laptops is generally better than the 3050 Ti ones. As I said earlier in this video, the Lenovo Legion 5 with the GTX 1660 Ti had an MSRP of $1,000, but you can actually find other GTX 1660 Ti laptops at a lower price with Intel CPUs. You can see some laptops as low as $800. Personally, I'd pay less for those Intel models to get more value in terms of price to performance. In addition, something to be aware of is that the RTX 3050 Ti has that 4GB VRAM limitation. For the average consumer, I don't think 4GB of VRAM in the GPU is good enough for mid-end range gaming laptops in the $1,000 price range. As you saw earlier in those benchmarks, the RTX 3050 Ti was maxed out on its VRAM for many of the games, including Assassin's Creed Valhalla. When I dialed up the settings to high settings, the FPS was drastically reduced. Due to that, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a VRAM demanding game. As years go on, new release AAA titles will become more VRAM demanding, and that 4GB VRAM limitation will eventually start to become annoying. And yeah, you could lower the settings and lower the resolution, but it's overall not going to be very fun. Whereas if you compare it to the GTX 1660 Ti, since it is already able to keep up with the RTX 3050 Ti's performance in today's AAA titles, it's overall going to last longer and will be able to handle newer AAA games that will be released in the next few or so years. That's it. I'm not saying that the RTX 3050 Ti is a terrible GPU and that everyone should avoid it. There are some people that it is for. If you play esports and are planning to play at low settings to gain a competitive advantage, or if you're heavily reliant on DLSS, which the RTX 3050 Ti outperforms the GTX 1660 Ti in, then it might be worthwhile getting the RTX 3050 Ti laptop. Nonetheless, for $1,100 or $1,200, I find it very hard to justify a purchase of an RTX 3050 Ti laptop at that price compared to a GTX 1660 Ti laptop that you can get for a much lower one. Unless if you're able to get it on sale for under $1,000, maybe the price could be reasonable. As of the prices at the time of this recording, the GTX 1660 Ti is pretty much the way to go. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you found this video helpful to you. Subscribe if you want to see more laptop videos. And as always, I'll see you all in my next one.